you mentioned the first week can be challenging. What can you do? I'm sure there's lots of parents right now that are they have September, they have the end of August in their mindset, like, wow, that week is coming. Is there anything that parents can do to make that go smoother?
I think, John, when it comes to preparing for that first week of school, anything we can do to not make that like a switch, like a light switch, as quick as possible, like on and off. But
Yeah.
preparing for the transition as much as you can beforehand is going to be super helpful. So a couple of things you can do. Start practicing the nighttime and bedtime routine at least a week or 2 weeks before, or at least start ramping towards that. I mean, it's the summer, you like later nights and you like hanging out, and sleep in a little bit. I mean, who doesn't like that? But to just flip that switch right away is going to be really, really hard. So start practicing what are those bedtime routines or nighttime or morning routines. One of the things that, with our school district that we have the privilege of doing is start preparing for, hey, who's going to be in your class or who's going to be your teacher. And that's an advantage we have just with the school district, and the fact that a lot of our kids, we've gotten to know our kids' friends' parents. And so usually
Mm,
the text chain happens, with the parents beforehand, like, hey, which class are they
yeah.
in or whatnot. But then you're able to start preparing your kids, at least like, hey, here's who's going to be in your class. One of the things that we've gotten in the habit of over the last couple of years too, during this time of year, we don't know the teacher schedules or the class schedules or the
Hmm.
things. So and so one of the things that, as a follower of Jesus, I'm doing and we're doing right now too, is we're just starting to pray like, hey, God, would you just align
Hmm.
the right stuff? So let our kids be with the right teacher, and the right kids, right? I pray for life-giving friendships for them, and start praying for God to get involved, however that can work out and be. And so that way, we know that whatever happens and however they get ready for the school, that God's preparing for something to move. Because I think one of the things that we can look at as followers of Jesus, as the school year begins, what a huge opportunity we have, not just to serve our kids, but also the kids and their families in the school district as well. And so I think we have to think about that and approach it that way as we're starting to head into this time of year.
So you brought up this idea of like getting your kids ready earlier by kind of like getting them into the practice of the routine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, is there any pushback that can come with that? Like because is there how much conversation is involved with your kids in that process? Like, hey, this is why we're doing this, or is it kind of like, no, you got to do it because I said so?
What would you say to that?
I think we do talk to them about the importance of it, and it's a regular conversation that I was even just talking to the kids today about of the importance of getting a good night's rest, that it helps with so many other things. It's not just for our sanity, but it's also it helps their body. And so we were talking, we talk about that of healthy life choices. And so that's another conversation that we'll have. If we want to be functioning at our best, and we want to be ready to handle the new routines. And so that's why it's important to get a good night's rest and get these routines in order. I think the harder one is their understanding of getting up a little earlier than they have to.
Mm.
Right now, we're in a stretch where they can sleep in a little bit. And it's let's get up and practice that morning routine. And they're like, no, I'll do fine when school starts. I'm like, yeah, but we're still going to practice this. We need to get it right so we're ready to go. But still, I think just helping them to understand the importance of it, because even though they're kids, they can still grasp those concepts.
Anything that have you guys learned anything that helps with that like morning? Like, no, this is why you should do it. Is there anything that you can do to help um, either them understand or be more willing to practice?
I think they understand, John, as we're talking about it. I mean, they know that, school's coming up. All our kids know that. And there's a variety of feelings and emotions that are going to start coming with that too. So what it will surface as we're practicing, it's not just so, hey, we can have this great, routine or whatnot, all of that, that's helpful. But now we're starting to also surface, hey, what emotions are they going to start having? What questions are going to start coming up and handing out. And so, some of the anxious thoughts or the worries or the fears. We have a child going into middle school for the first time this year. And so that's
Yeah.
going to bring out a lot of different emotions. And so I think it can lead to some of those of like, hey, we want to help you just prepare the best for this, but then also get them to be able to open up and acknowledge, hey, these are something I'm wondering about. Are they going to like me? How's this going to go? Am I going to remember
Yeah.
my lock? And so any of those fears that we can start taking care of and just give them confidence beforehand will help.
I love that. Instead of like reacting to the emotions as they happen, and almost, I mean, we all know this in the moment, even as adults, emotions are harder to deal with than if you can like prepare and think through ahead of time.